Okay. Western UP Health Department, we're a part of the Unified Command, so that we're helping to bring resources to this Houghton flood recovery. Our main focus is on keeping the public healthy and safe, and they're mostly what we call environmental health concerns. So when you have a flood, you have the possibility of environmental contamination that can affect people's health. Basically, we have three main issues that we're working on, which is preventing waterborne illness, preventing foodborne illness, and then getting out some information to workers and homeowners about health and safety when they're doing cleanups with potentially hazardous materials or mold or working to muck out basements. But hitting on water, that's the biggest issue usually in a flood. The good news is that the state Department of Environmental Quality has determined that none of the municipal water systems were affected in Houghton County, with the exception of a few households in the Torch Lake Township area where their water main broke, and so there's about 50 customers that are receiving bottled water. But all the drinking water systems, if you get water from a pipe from the street to your tap, those are, unless you've been notified, those are all in good condition and safe to drink. The other issue is people that have private wells, so they have their own well on their property. If those wells were overtopped, which means if the flood waters went over the top of that standpipe that's in their yard, then they can consider that their well was flooded. We have information on our health department website, westernuphealth.org or wupdhd.org, for what to do to bring your contaminated private drinking systems back into safe, usable. But in the meantime, if you have any questions about your private well, normally there's a $17 fee to do the standard bacterial test, but we're going to pay that fee. If you're in Houghton County and you have a private well and you want to get it tested for the regular bacterial test, come to our Hancock office, get the test bottle, and we'll get your information and tell you how to take that water sample, send it in, the fee will be waived. We want you to find out whether your water's safe to drink. Beaches. So that's the other place where you can get sick from the water, is swimming in the lakes and streams. We know that there were sewer systems that had to discharge their overflow into Portage Lake and the waterways around here. That's normal practice when you have such a tremendous rainfall. So we're doing a lot of monitoring of lakes and streams. Many times when you have heavy rain like this, even from natural sources, not just from sewage systems, you will get runoff that will bring like animal waste and sources of bacteria in from rivers into lakes, and they can contaminate the water and make it unsafe for recreation, for swimming at beaches, or for kayaking or paddleboarding or splashing around in the water. So we have a regular program where weekly in the summer we monitor 17 public beaches in the Western UP, but we're currently going out every couple of days as fast as we can and doing sampling at about 30 different sites around the UP, maybe more by now, and we're doing repeat tests on the ones that are coming up with high bacterial counts. We've pretty much had high bacterial counts at most of the locations around the Western UP, not just Torch Lake and in the canal here, but even places that are on Lake Superior that are near where rivers would flow out into the lake and cause pollution from runoff from the flooding. So we have advised that all beaches in the Western UP are closed, and so it's really advice for you not to go and play in the water, whether it's a small lake or a river, stream, or even Great Lake beaches. And then we know that people want to get back in the water. 4th of July is coming up, so we're doing this really aggressive monitoring plan where we're doing testing. We run E. coli and fecal coliform, so in other words, bacteria that are carried in like human and animal waste that can make you sick. We're running tests on those. We get the results back here in our in-house lab in 18 hours, so we take a sample one day, get the results the next morning. And as soon as we can reopen a beach, we reopen it. So our default position based on a lot of sampling is that the water's not good to be in. And when we find places that are safe, which has pretty much been around Keweenaw County right now, then we post them on our website. By the time you watch this, we have 7 locations on Monday, June 25th. But as you watch this video, look at the health department website, and we'll be posting the beaches as we open them. Food safety. Well, we have information on our website again for homeowners that might have had, maybe a basement that was flooded where they had a freezer, and information about how to, determine if food's been contaminated and to throw it away, of course. But also there have been some temporary food operations, food services that have sprung up to give meals to workers. And so we've been basically issuing temporary food service licenses, except we're not charging the fee for that either. So it's been an advisory thing to these volunteer organizations like Salvation Army and some of the churches that have been standing up like box lunch programs. And we've been going out and doing an inspection that we would normally charge a lot of money for. But of course, we're not here to make money on a flood. So we've just been giving advice, helping them to make a plan for food safety and food handling so that they can do what they want to do, which is get food safely to workers. And then just general health and safety tips for people that are cleaning out a basement or working, in a ditch that's been flooded or whatever. We have information on our website as well, westernuphealth.org or wpdhd.org. And some of the basics are to wear, long clothes, boots, gloves like the rubber gloves you might use to wash the dishes, masks. The FEMA recommends something called an N95 mask when you're going to be in an enclosed area like a basement that has a lot of mold. I know that the Volunteer Resource Center over in Houghton was passing those out to workers that were there. And I understand that here, a little over a week after the flood, that 97% of the homes that have been identified that needed cleaning have already been cleaned by volunteers. So there's been a lot of progress in that area. But if anyone wants some information on just general health and safety tips in a flood, again, go to the health department website. So those are the main things. Safe drinking water, safe water to swim in, food safety, and just general health and safety tips when you're doing cleanup from the flood.